Houston against Indiana. This is a very tough one. There has been some significant line movement, though, favoring, well, it's been bouncing back and forth, actually. It's now right about where it opened. It actually, it's actually come back down. Indianapolis at Pinnacle opened at 1.5, got bet up to 2.5. I'm using SBR odds right now, where you can easily check the line histories, and then came back the other way. Money coming back on Houston and then bounce. So it's bouncing all around, which is understandable because I think you can make a good case, not necessarily for betting on either of these teams, but for betting against either of these teams. I think the question mark for me is how much of a mess fundamentally is Houston right now. They obviously have some major weaknesses. Are those weaknesses that they can fix, or are they fundamental and not easily fixable?
Boy, I'm worried about Houston, Pete. I really am, because if you zeroed in on the game against the Giants, that's a game you should have had there. Giants struggling on offense. You get them at home. You're 0-2. You need the win, and you came out with that type of effort where, you're throwing just bad interceptions in the red zone. You're fumbling in the red zone. You're not playing up the capabilities. Every time it seemed like Houston had a big play, got called back. Touchdowns were called back. Now, when you take a look at this, though, I think Houston, the MO with them, they should be able to score points. But then when you look at the Indianapolis side here, Pete, what are they doing on offense out here other than dink and dunking with only a couple yards per play? I love T.Y. Hilton. He's a great wide receiver, but somebody else has to help out where he can get one-on-one coverage and throw the football downfield, because it looks like over the past couple games that Indianapolis played, yes, they played a very good game versus the Washington Redskins, kept the score low, played good defense. Against the Philadelphia Eagles in the rain, they kept it low, but their offense is the problem here. The one thing I like about Deshaun Foster, again, he's going to be in a dome. He's going to be on turf. He's going to have time to throw because he scrambles around and gets out of the pocket. But testing them right, like I haven't seen anything out of Houston, Pete, that makes me want to run to the window, even though it's basically a pick-em type situation where they can win and say, you know what, let me lay it on Houston here. Their offense has been anemic in ways that you can't do it in the NFL with these turnovers.
No, I mean, Houston looks like a team that is just chronically underachieving. They should be much better offensively than they really are. It just looks like they have coaching problems, like O'Brien's just not a good coach for some reason. Watson is not improving or advancing in the ways that he should. And I always, those underachieving teams, I hate to bet on in any situation. It just feels like the market is slow to catch up with teams that just have sort of mental issues. I mean, the offensive line, he's not getting any protection. The secondary is terrible, and it just seems like O'Brien's just a bad head coach. On the other side, though, the Colts also look like they have a very vulnerable offensive line as well, and that's why, as you said, the Luck was dinking and dunking. So I don't know. Is Luck going to be able to take advantage of the apparent weakness in the secondary for Houston? I'm not sure about that. And is Indianapolis going to be able to take advantage defensively of Houston's apparent weakness on the offensive line? What do you think?
Yeah, if you throw the records out there and you say, you didn't know if Houston was 0-3, you're right, Pete. When you just line it up and say, wait a second, I'm going to get Jadeveon Clowney and J.J. Watt on the defensive line. It's going to pressure Andrew Luck. So he's not going to have enough time to throw it downfield. They already want to dink and dunk. They're injured at the tackle position. They're injured at a couple other key positions. Sooner or later, that Houston team's, because if you watch the Houston game versus the New York Giants, it was more self-inflicted than actually the final score up there, because they were able to move the football at will, but they just kept shooting themselves in the foot in the red zone. I don't know if that's going to be the case, because the one good thing, if you're wanting to back the Houston Texans here, Pete, Indy's not going to run away with this game. It's not going to be 28-0, at the end of the first quarter at the half. They're going to play it close to the vest, and you have more playmakers on the Houston team than you do Indianapolis. I do want to take Houston, but I know you put your hand in the cookie jar with Bill O'Brien too many times, it gets snapped off. Yeah. I still want to take Houston.
I don't know, man. And it's with Luck and Watson involved, it's I'm surprised I'm saying this, but maybe under. Maybe both of these offensive lines are relatively weak. They're going to get taken advantage of, and Watson and Luck will not be able to. They'll have to do what they've been doing in recent weeks. What do you think about the under? Is that a good play?
No, and it's a division game. In division games, I always like to lean because these two teams know each other. Look, I know it's a new regime, but there's similar players in there. They're going to get used to it. They know how Andrew Luck likes to play. And the same thing with Bill O'Brien and his football team as well. 47.5, it's not easy to go over those numbers. 43, 42.5, a little bit easier. You look last week, what did the game end up with? 49 points with Houston and like 700, mid 700s in total yards in that game. And it barely got over, Pete. It took a last-second touchdown, literally last-second touchdown to push that number over the total. I agree here with the under. That's the way I'd be looking.
Man, this is tough. All right, I don't know how I would answer this question myself, but if you had to make a play right now, you could get Houston plus 1.5, Colts minus 1.5, or the total at 47. What would you do, Donnie? Right side?
Honestly, right now, like I think Houston can win the football game. It's like I like home teams, and for some reason I keep leaning towards road teams right now in the NFL. I just think there's more talent on Houston that eventually it's going to click. They have a good running back situation, a decent offensive line, an athletic quarterback with a good arm, two weapons at wide receiver getting healthier as the weeks go. And you have Clowney and Watt on the defensive line. I want to take Houston, Pete. I do.
You think they have a decent offensive line? Because Watson was not getting any protection last game.
No, it's all relative because when I usually include the mobile quarterback in with the offensive line. Like if something breaks down and you have Eli Manning in the pocket, he's going down immediately.
Right.
But Deshaun Watson, half of his allure is if they can just hold up for a second, he can roll out of the pocket and scramble. But last week, Pete, he's rolling out of the pocket, scrambling and throwing interceptions. So that's what we've been getting out of him.
No, I agree with you, Donnie Rightside. I feel like, Houston should be obviously the play here. It's just they've been underachieving. They just find ways to mess up. If it's not Bill O'Brien, if it's not the offensive line, if it's not the secondary, something breaks down.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.